Hey Rangers fans, and welcome to our third Facebook Live Caravan Chat of 2021 presented by Comerica Bank. We hope everyone is doing well and having a great start to the new year. Obviously, Winter Caravan is a little different this year as we are taking things virtual. For the next 2 Wednesdays at 7 p.m. here on the Rangers Facebook page, we'll be hosting these Caravan Chats with players and coaches. And tonight we have a great show lined up for you with myself, outfielder Willie Calhoun, infielder and outfielder Nick Solak, and co-pitching coach Doug Mathis. It's great to see you guys, albeit virtually again. I want to get to everyone and what they've been up to, and I'm going to start with the elder statesman in the virtual room, Doug Mathis, who of course was a player for us way back when I covered you, and I'm still here, Doug. Welcome back. Congratulations on being named co-pitching coach. What's it been like for you over the last several months since you received that position?
Yeah, thanks. It's been good. It's been a lot of work. We pretty much Sags and myself got the work, and with Woody and JD and everybody, and the whole front office right away. It's been really good. We've just been putting a lot of off-season plans together for the guys, and just constant communication with all our pitchers, and been very detailed with everything we've been doing, just trying to give guys a really good picture of who they are and what they do well, and and things to focus on. And it's taken a while to kind of get through all that, but spring training's right around the corner now, so it's time to kind of get that going and try to see what guys have been working on, see what happens when we actually get on the dirt with everyone together. But it's been great. It's been really good. All the dialogue has been good with the players. I think the guys really have responded well to it and the information that we've given them. And one thing we're trying to do is give the guys a voice of who they want to be as players as well. So it's not just we give them things, hey, or here, do this. We want them to interact with it, but it's been really good. Been really excited to be back, and just really excited to be back with the Rangers. Like you said, I played here, and even when I was gone, I was always constantly kind of keeping track of the Rangers too. I've kind of what I know is being a Ranger, so I'm really excited to be back and in this role.
Willie, I'll go to you next. I don't know if anyone's happier that 2020 is over than you. It's a new year. How have you spent your off season, and how anxious are you to get back out on the field?
Yeah, no, I think you hit it right on the nose. I'm excited that 2020 was over. I've been in California this whole off season, so I'm working out down in Southern California. I went back home to the Bay Area for about a month, spent some time with my family. I think I'm ready for 2021. I'm ready to come back and and show like what I've been working on this off season down in Southern California. I'm working really hard on just my overall game, and just picking the knowledge and the brains of people from down here. That's been helping me. So like I said, I'm excited for 2021, and I can't wait for it.
Nick, for you, even though you're a relatively new player, we've gotten so many new guys, and this roster's turned over so much. You're kind of now one of the grizzled old vets as far as this team is concerned. How have you handled this off season, and has it been any different than off seasons past?
Yeah, it's been pretty similar. I guess all things considered, I've been able to get all my work in, as in off seasons past. With I always keep to pretty much the same plan, make little adjustments here and there on the things I'm working on. But I've been able to get everything in, and I spend it down in Houston with a couple of trips up to Dallas to check in with the guys up there, and I'm ready and excited to get out to Arizona. Spring training can't come soon enough, and I'm ready to get back on the field and get out there.
Doug, for you guys as a staff, is it as normal as an off season as it can be as far as the pandemic is concerned, and how are you guys adjusting?
I think it's been pretty normal. I think the one thing that the whole quarantine and COVID's kind of showed us is that we can actually stay in more contact with the players more consistently without it seem like we're kind of being overbearing. We can schedule Zoom calls, have virtual meetings, kind of like we're doing now. And I think that's kind of become normal for guys, and it's actually good because you can see each other face to face, and instead of just having phone tag back and forth and exchanging text messages. In a way, it's actually made the off season, I think, a little better, just because we're so used to doing this now. We can hop on with a player and and have like a PowerPoint presentation for them, or like share a screen and walk them through some video of what we're looking at. And like, it's been really, really good. So I think it's actually been better, in my opinion. So, but it's, to me, it's been normal as far as guys getting their work in. I think it's been pretty normal.
How did your playing career shape the way that you coach?
Yeah, my playing career, I think, like, as I got older and as I got towards the end of my career, I kind of knew that I was obviously going to be done. You kind of have a feeling when you're going to be done. But then as I got going, like the last 4 or 5 years, I had an idea I wanted to coach, and I started paying attention to, more attention to the actual coaches and how they coach. And then I started like kind of picking their brains a little more. And then I think my coaching style is kind of like a lot. You can kind of see a lot of my former pitching coaches come out in me, the things I say, things I do. I've, a lot of things I do are kind of stolen. I'm not very original when it comes to certain coaching things, but I've had some good coaches. So, I have no problem stealing stuff from guys. And I think that it comes out in what I do. I don't have one set way I like to coach. So.
As you know, this franchise does not have the best reputation when it comes to pitching. How do you handle that? Do you see that as a challenge? Is that something that you meet head on? Do you feel like that changes with the new ballpark?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a challenge whether you're. I think everything is a challenge. I think whether you're the pitching coach for the Los Angeles Dodgers is a challenge, because you want to make sure you do the best job and you're there for the players and you're getting the best out of your players no matter what you're doing. I think our biggest goal is just to establish a set of standards here and a set of way we operate and get the best out of our players. It's not about me as a coach. It's about our players. And we need to make sure that we're giving our players the best opportunity to maximize their potential. And if we're not doing it, we have to find the answers why. And in my opinion, it doesn't matter where those answers come from, just make sure we're doing the right thing for the players. But yeah, it's a challenge, but I don't think it adds any pressure. I just think it makes it fun, because when we do get to where we think we can go, it's going to be a lot of fun, in my opinion.
Willie, for you guys as a team, I know you don't listen to too much of the outside chatter, but the expectation surrounding this club is that it is in a bit of a rebuilding mode. How do you guys handle that kind of talk as players?
Honestly, like, I don't know. I think we have a pretty hungry group. We're pretty young, but I think we're all like, we all play with a chip on our shoulder and feel that we have something to prove. So I think we kind of use it as a motivation. Like, our team is motivated. We're young, we're hungry. I don't think we kind of look at it as a rebuild. I think we kind of more look at it as an opportunity. It's an opportunity for us as a group to show, the league pretty much of like who we are and like what we're about. I think our team's like real young. We're gritty. We're gonna show them that, we're not no joke, and that we can play with them even though we're still young. So I think we look at it as an opportunity, to be honest.
For you, how does last season motivate you? And we've seen some of your drastic physical changes from season to season. Sometimes, any drastic physical changes we can expect this time around?
Nah. I mean, I'm still around 195, 200. But I just say, like, I'm a lot more. Over the years, ever since 2017 when I came over here, I can say every year, like, I've gotten more and more wiser, more mature. I think from a maturity standpoint, that's where you're going to see the biggest change from me. I've grown up a lot over the years, and I think like the struggle that I went through last off season with everything last year everything that I've been through, like ever since I got hit in the face, I think I learned from a lot of it, and I think me being more mature and even getting more wiser is just going to help me overall as a player. So I think that's where the biggest change for me is going to be this year.
You mentioned that awful experience in spring training when you got hit with that ball, and it was such a terrifying moment for everyone. I can't even imagine what was going through your mind. Do you still have flashbacks of that? Do you still think about that when you get in the box?
Honestly, I did last year a little bit, but I kind of started getting comfortable again towards the end of the year when I came back from my injury. Everything started to become normal again. So I don't have that anymore. Like I said, I'm excited to get back in there and just be myself again. Not really have that worry, but it's a blessing in disguise. Maybe that's something that I needed to go through to, become the player that I know I can be. So, I'm looking at it as a blessing in disguise now, and just excited for this year.
Nick, for you, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, you've been around now for a little while, and this roster has, turned over so much. Have you found, your desire to serve in more of a leadership capacity or be a more, outspoken guy in the clubhouse? Is that something that just happens naturally? Is that something that you work on? Is that something that you consciously think about?
I think a little bit of everything. I think as soon as, for me, looking back at last year towards the end of the year, and I'm thinking about playing the Diamondbacks, and I remember seeing a tweet about the average age of the lineup, and it was 24 years and some amount of days. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm bringing that average up. Like, I'm one of the oldest guys in the lineup this day. And to think about that, only having, the part of 19 and then the COVID shortened season under my belt. But even though I just had like that little experience, I still had a lot more experience than, some of the other guys. So to find ways to help them, stuff that I'd gone through, I think that with the group that we have and being similar in age, it's a lot of guys that are going to feed off each other, learn with and from each other. It's just a really good group of guys that, you put them all together, and, everybody can be a leader, everybody can be a servant, and helping each other out to, be better players.
I've learned over the years that baseball players can be creatures of habit, so to speak. And there's something about knowing where you're going to be in the batting order, in the lineup, in the field, all those kind of things. That may not be a luxury that you've had or may continue to have. How do you handle that? When you come to the park every day, maybe not knowing exactly where those things are going to fall. And is there one place where you do feel really at home in the field?
I think as far as dealing with it's through the years of playing baseball, you learn that there's things that you can control and there's things that you can't control. And sometimes, where you're at in the lineup or where you're playing in the field that day, to an extent you can control it, but at the end of the day, the manager's making the lineup, and you just go out there and you perform wherever that is. You help the team win, and at the end of the day, that's the main goal. So, I think that having that in the back of my mind helps me, to deal with uncertainty or the change, or just, not the same consistency of being in the same spot in the lineup or the same spot in the field. And, I'll play anywhere in the field. I've played the most at second base in my career, through the minor leagues. But wherever my name's going to be, I'm excited to embrace that role and do what I can to help the team.
You feel like too, you're getting more comfortable, in settings like this, talking to the media, because you were so reserved when you first got here, and that may just have been just because it was all a new experience. But do you feel like you're kind of getting more comfortable in these types of settings and kind of, I don't want to say coming into your own, but maybe just, growing into a more complete player in that regard?
Maybe a little bit. I always kind of think I'm pretty reserved anyway, even now. I think, especially talking to the media, doing media, I can give you cliches with the best of them. But I think, it's fun. I like interacting with the fans. I like doing the media, and just to be able to, have that avenue. Maybe I'm coming a little bit more into my own, but I think I'll always be kind of reserved and, kind of stick to what I've kind of always done.
Well, I think you are, because I will say when you first got here, you gave really, really short answers, and I would have to have like 10 questions for you for like a 2-minute interview. And now you just go on. So I think it's fantastic. So I'm giving you a compliment is what I'm saying. I'm giving you a compliment.
Thank you, Emily.
Okay, Dougie, let's talk a little bit about, I want you to give these guys a little bit of what things were like when you were here as a player, what you were like as a player.
Yeah, so when I was here, I made my debut in 2008, and we were kind of on our way up a little bit. I think we think that I think it was Wash's first year, maybe, or second year.
Oh,
maybe? It was
07 was Wash's first year.
Yeah, so
07.
his second year. So we were kind of in this transition of, you know, in a way, I guess, like not close to where we are now, but like, you know, just a little bit past to where we are now. And then 2009, we got better, started adding more pieces, and guys like Michael Young and Ian Kinsler were like staples of our team. We had acquired Josh Hamilton. And then we had flashes that year where it was like, man, we could be really good. And then 2010 was like, we're best team in baseball. And it was really fun to be around, like just the group of players that we had. Like I said, you know, Michael Young and Kinsler, those guys were awesome, and Josh Hamilton, watching that guy play every day. And there's tons of guys I could name, but just coming to the field every day, knowing that you're probably going to win that night. And you know, when I say we're going to win, I didn't really do much those years, but I got to watch a lot of really good baseball. So, and then the atmospheres at the stadiums were amazing whenever we had big matchups, and being on a team that made the playoffs was amazing. And then even after I left, watching that team in 2011, you know, it was still that same group, and it was kind of like we just kept adding on each year, and we got better, and young guys stepped up when they had to. The veterans led the way, and they continue to be good. It was a really fun time to be around. You know, it'll be a lot of fun when we get back to doing that again.
And how valuable do you think that experience is to have kind of witnessed that transition, you know, firsthand and been a part of it?
Yeah, I think it's valuable. I think just playing the game in general is valuable, but I think like just, you know, I mean, and even being a former Ranger, I think is valuable too, knowing just kind of how, you know, how things have been done here, and just kind of watching transitions kind of come and go. But yeah, I think just like kind of relating to the guys, and, you know, and not saying like, hey, when I was here, we did this. It's just more like, yeah, like it's more of like just talking about day-to-day things. Like when a guy needs a little something here and there, you can kind of give them, you know, a little, talk to them about stuff that might even be baseball related. And you just kind of like let them know, like, yeah, I've been there, done that, saw that. This is, you know, these type of things that happen. I think that creates a lot of value with players. Absolutely.
Okay, so we have some questions from the Twitterverse for you guys, because everyone's tired of me asking questions. I'm still going to ask them, but they're not my own questions. Okay, so the first one is for Nick from Don Russ Dude. Did you thank Joe Adele for the 4 bases after the game last year?
No, I haven't thanked him. I think he's from Louisville. And, you know, I went to Louisville, and he was committed to Louisville. Of course, he was, you know, a really high draft pick and signed. Usually in the off seasons, I go to Louisville. I guess I've never met him or seen him, but I guess there's always a chance. But this off season, I didn't go to Louisville. I didn't have a chance to thank him for the 4 base error. That's still an error, but no, I didn't get to thank him for that.
Okay, Willie, we'll start with you on this one from A Grosh 16. How are you preparing for a 162 game season after the partial season last year?
I think you go about it like the same, like off season. You know, you make sure you it's like for longevity stuff. You don't really do a lot of like heavy lifting. I'm more focused like on like I said, like longevity. And this is the first off season where like I've been doing like a lot of treatment, like on my legs, so to speak, and like making sure like I get like my massages and, you know, like the deep tissue stuff knocked out the way, so that when I get the spring, like I'm, you know, ready to go.
Nick, what about you, bud?
I think you just, you know, like I said earlier, like just I've treated this off season like any other off season. You know, I think, you know, baseball players as creatures of habit and the routine. I mean, last off season we planned for 162, and then this season we just be playing for 162. It's just kind of, that's what you expect, you know, every year to play as many games as possible, and, you know, hopefully more than 162. But yeah, just just train kind of the same way that I have to get ready for a full season.
Doug, you've been working on those trots out to the mound. Is that going to be you, or?
No, I haven't been doing much of that. No, my only hope is when I make a mound visit is not to fall down.
Okay, listen.
Whether I'm walking or running, because I've seen it happen. You don't want that turf monster to get you.
I like the goals. I like the goals. Okay. We'll start with you, Doug, on this one from Lori Chada. What is something you miss about playing in the minors?
Oh man, there's a lot of things, but I think just the overall, like when you're on a good team in the minors, it's like it's a lot of fun. Just like the kind of like the closeness you can get with a team. And I know you can get that in the big leagues too, but the minor leagues are different because like sometimes you got guys like you have 5 guys living in one place, and you got especially if you're at the lower levels, you got 6 or 7 roommates in some spots, and it's just like a lot of the travel, the tightness that you can get together, and like the going to some of those towns and some of those road trips are a lot of fun, even though like you don't want to do that all the time, but it's actually kind of cool to go back and coaching the minor leagues when I first started coaching them kind of brought me back to that, and it was kind of cool to experience that. Being in the big leagues is great, obviously, because we charter our flights everywhere, but getting those little things are kind of cool reminders every now and then.
Nick, what about you?
Kind of like Doug said, I mean, there's a lot of things actually, looking back on it. I think all the different cities that you get to play in, and not like your major cities, but, minor league cities and towns. I mean, I've played for 3 different organizations through the system of all kinds of different cities across all regions of the country. And just to see different places is really cool. The closeness of the group of guys that, that you're around all the time, everybody's trying to get moved up to the next level. And I think, with that in mind, like in the minor leagues to see a guy get moved up, like one of your friends, or to see a guy get called up for the first time, that's a really cool experience. Like a roommate or a guy that, the shortstop when I'm at second, there's some of those relationships that you form, and then to see them achieve their dream is really cool that, you only experience in the minor leagues for a guy getting called up the first time.
Willie, you're up.
Yeah, I think they pretty much said everything, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, I just think like the road trips, and at like in short season you go on those like 14-hour bus rides, and then it's all worth it in the end, like as you like progressively move up in each level. So yeah, I just think being able to like witness like all like the cities and like the sceneries from all the different types is pretty cool.
What was the best meal? This is just my own, I'm throwing in. Best meal you got from a big leaguer on a rehab assignment? You remember any?
I'm trying to think. I guess when Kershaw came down to OKC in 2017, there's a really good barbecue spot behind the field. So I'd say that's the best. Or I'm just trying to think, like, I guess Jock Peterson gave us Chick-fil-A. I mean, when you get Chick-fil-A, you can never beat Chick-fil-A. I mean, I think Chick-fil-A is like the best like chain restaurant, like fast food wise. You can't beat a good Chick-fil-A meal though.
You and my kids, Willie. You and my
Yep.
kids. Nick, what about you? Remember any meals?
I'd say when I was in high A with the Yankees, which that's their affiliate was Tampa, and that's where the spring training is. So all the big leaguers would, start their rehab at least in Tampa. And Didi Gregorius bought P.F. Chang's like 3 days in a row. Like it was kind of weird. There's the same thing every day, but like it's hard to complain about eating P.F. Chang's. Like, and it was like sushi rolls in addition to all the Chinese food. It was so good.
Nice. Dougie, you remember any?
The only thing that sticks out when being in the minors, whenever we had a rehab guy, it was like, it seemed like it was always like steak, and like that being a minor leaguer, like getting steak after a game, like whether it was good or bad, was like the best meal you had that week or probably that month. So they were always really good. And those always seem to stand out whenever we had like a nice steakhouse or something catered in. It was like, that's the best meal you're going to have for a while.
Okay, this one's also for you, Doug. Where was your favorite place to play outside the U.S.? This is from Josh Slinkard.
Outside the U.S.? Oh, man, that's a tough one, too, because like they're all great experiences. I really like Korea a lot just because the country's amazing. And in general, I really like that country, and just the atmosphere they create their games is really, really cool. And that league's a lot of fun. But yeah, Korea was probably my favorite just from the style of play too. It was really fun. But I enjoyed all the stops I went to, but Korea stands out as probably the one that I would pick.
Okay, from Masked Solak, we'll start with you, Nick, since he has his Twitter handle named after you. What's your favorite and least favorite moments as a Ranger?
My most favorite moment was my debut in 19 in both games, a doubleheader. My least favorite moment, I don't know. I have to think about my least favorite moment. Come back to me for least favorite.
Okay, Willie, you go. I have a feeling I know what this is.
My least favorite. I mean, my favorite moment I'd say is, yeah, just your debut is, just being able to fulfill your dreams for the first time that's a really cool experience. That was like one of my coolest experiences of my life. So that's definitely like my favorite moment. Just because like you put in so much like time and effort, and like you work your butt off like all the way, like as you're a little kid, all the way up until then when you finally get that call, it's a really cool experience. And like least, oh man.
How about when you got clocked in the face with a baseball?
Yeah, I know. That's definitely my. I just hate thinking about it. It's just like that's such a bad experience. Like that was just so traumatizing. But that's 1,000% like my least favorite experience. I don't think I ever want to relive that ever again.
Okay, well, I'll stop bringing it up. I promise. It's not very nice. Doug,
No,
what about you?
No, I mean, like those, like these guys say, you always remember your debut. That's always special. But one game stands out for me. I think we were playing the Red Sox on Sunday Night Baseball in 2009, and we had Dustin Nippert making a spot start, and then I was like the only guy available in the bullpen. So they basically told us before the game, like, you guys got the game for the, we're gonna try to get to the game with you two guys. So Dustin ends up going like, I think it was like 5 2/3, and I pitched the rest of the game, and we won. Long story short, we won 3-2, and it was just cool because we ended up sweeping the Red Sox. We had a packed house that whole weekend. That was a lot of fun. My least favorite, well, shoot, I got a lot of those. Probably my first career start in Minnesota did not go well. And then another outing I had up in Toronto, and it was like a slugfest early in the game, and I came in the game in like the third inning, and I don't even know if I got through another next inning. I got like 7 runs, and long story short, again, I was optioned the next day, and those are never that fun.
Okay, I'm going to add mine, even though no one asked. So people always ask me what my favorite moment has been covering this team, and I always say the same one. And Doug, you were a part of it. It was when we clinched the division in Oakland in 2010, and it was just it was just so much fun. Like we knew going into that series that it was going to happen there. That place is such a dump, but nobody cared because you won the division, and it's all these guys that had worked to rebuild this thing and to finally get back to the playoffs. It was such a huge thing. And then we go to that bar afterward in San Francisco and take over the whole place, and you're playing beer pong, and it was like everybody. It was players, front office, media. And I just remember thinking, and I think JD and I had this conversation, it'll never be this way again. Like it'll never be like this, that first time feeling again with that group. You know what I mean? And so just to experience all that was such a fun time. And then my least favorite is the next season, Game 6, blah, blah, blah. Just like Willie, I'm traumatized by Game 6 the way you're traumatized by that baseball coming 100 miles an hour at you. Okay, last one for Nick and Willie. As two of the younger guys in this organization, do you feel like you hold a big part of the revival of this team and the future of the Texas Rangers? That's from Strike Daddy. Willie,
you want to go solely or me? Okay, I'll go first. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I feel really good about our team, and I understand that like we're young, and it's weird to say that like me and Soli are considered old guys, even though we're still like 25 and 26. So like I don't know. It just doesn't feel that like we're like older. But I mean, I guess like on our team. But I think like I said earlier, I think that like I know Soli has the that like the grit and like the determined, motivated, like he has that in him. And I think us as a group, like we're gonna take it as an opportunity, more of an opportunity to like show people like you know, even though we're young, like that doesn't matter. Like we have experience. Like we can go out there and play with whoever's out there. So I think we look at it more as an opportunity, and you know, just to like, even for the younger guys, like this year, like being able to, you know, be that guy to like lean on, like even when they're struggling, when they're scuffling. So I think we look at it as an opportunity, and you know, I'm excited for it.
Nick?
Yeah, you know, to echo Willie, absolutely, it's an opportunity for us. It's a young group, but it's a group that wants to play hard, that's going to play hard, that's going to play fast, it's going to have a lot of energy. The team that's going to play the game the right way. And I think when you get a group of guys that, you know, believe in that and go out and do that, you know, like the group that, you know, we've assembled, I think, you know, the sky's the limit, you know, and we're going to continue to get better, and we're going to win games, and, you know, probably surprise people that might not think so, but you know, I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I can tell you it's going to be, you know, a fun product of baseball to watch, just the way that we're going to play the game.
Thanks to Nick, Willie, and Doug, and our friends at Comerica Bank. Tune in every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. on the Rangers Facebook page for an exclusive Caravan chat with Rangers players and coaches. You can check out the full 2021 Winter Caravan schedule at texasrangers.com/caravan. We'll see you next Wednesday night right here at 7 p.m. with Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, Nate Lowe, and Dave Raymond.